Okay, so we are going to give this a try. I just turned my Wi-Fi off, so hopefully everybody's able to pop back on. I am sitting on a rock in my garden here, so not quite like a meditation pillow, but it feels amazing to be outside, and the warmth of the sun is just fantastic. So if you are able to pop on now, we're just going to have a little bit of a chat. Yay, welcome back on. better. And if you are watching this a little bit later on when you've come out of your garden, I'm hoping it will be as helpful as well. So as you're settling in, again, thanking you for your patience. Now we are going to be talking about patience today, and that is our chat on not just gardening, but it is very, very particular to this time of year, particular to the spring. And in my discussions with therapists, whether it's physiotherapists, chiropractors, massage therapists, the springtime is the time that if we're going to do something to our backs in particular, it is very often going to happen at this time. So, and we do not have the support right now of our therapists, so it's all up to us. So this concept of patience becomes even that much more important. So this was 2 weeks ago, I was actually wandering around when we had that other nice spell, and this whole infographic. So if you haven't had a chance to see this yet, I just posted it on my on the Facebook page. So it's an infographic on patience that is related in particular to gardening. So it started percolating through my brain a couple of weeks ago, and then I put something down in paper and bounced it off Sherry and Lisa as well to make sure it made sense for them and where they are in their life in terms of patience and gardening, and this is what came out of it. So in terms of overall patience, it also kind of depends on the person that you are and the gardener that you are, right? So it's related to mindfulness and patience. And from an Ayurvedic standpoint, I am a Vata, meaning that I'm a little impatient already. And so then you put me in these situations where I want to get something done, and I'm even a little bit more impatient. So this is for me, this is where it came from, and then I thought there might be a couple more people that might benefit from this as well. So as we, and we're just going to take a few minutes, just about 5 minutes today. If you do get a chance to, I mean, you don't need to have it as your screensaver on your phone or anything, but to have it printed out and to have it jump into your mind now and again, I know for me it has made a big difference, because I know at any point, I would probably say 99% of the time, if I have ever hurt myself, whether it's my back, my ankles, my neck, it is because this little voice in my head has actually warned me before not to lift that, not to carry all of this at one time, to wait a moment to get some help, and then nope, I move forward, and then tweak, there goes something going on in my body that either I need to repair and deal with, or somebody else needs to deal or repair. So this is our goal for this spring season, because it is a little bit of a different spring season, of course. I mean, it's so many different levels. Some of us have a little bit, we may have more time to spend actually in the garden, and for some of us we're working harder right now, and we have less time, so it goes across the gamut, different for everybody, but this will still apply. So if we look through it from a patient standpoint, I am going to start with P, and that is pain-free lifting. So here's the thing. Very often when that little voice goes off in your head that says, whoa, I don't really think I should continue with this, or I should lift this, or I should push this. And you have this override that goes on and says, oh, well, my back's a little sore already. My back's always sore in the spring, so it's not a huge deal. The issue is that if we push through that, we are teaching our body to move in pain. And as we teach our body to move in pain, again, we have that pattern in our brain that just keeps teaching our body to move in pain. So if we stop for a moment, we breathe, we think, I'm not going to teach my body to move in pain. I'm going to move with my breath, I'm going to move with patience, and I'm going to move with ease. Then right into the brain, and there we go. It happens more often that we move with ease. But again, if we override that, then our body says, oh, I'm just used to moving in pain anyways. So that's a whole other pain discussion as well, but it's very, very interesting. That applies not, of course, just to gardening, but it applies overall, moving around the house, moving things through the house, reaching into the back of cupboards, reaching high into the back of closets. So that is the time that we may, again, strain or tumble. So pain-free lifting. So the A in patience, ask for help. And ask for help can be hard sometimes, for sure. So sometimes it's not convenient. So there's nobody in the yard, so I'm going to have to do this on my own. Or you're going to get harassed, and I can see at least one person on there who understands when I say your kids look at you and say, are you not a personal trainer, Mom? Come on now, you can lift that. So there are just little different things that go on with asking for help, independence, convenience. Also really taking advantage of all of the amazing landscapers that we have in this area who very much, just starting this week, right, want to help out. So if we can balance that off with what we want to do, what we love, and support others who are willing to help and are sometimes much more equipped to help. If we think of it that way, then I think we will reach out a little bit more. So that's the A in patience. The T is taking your time. Of course, so we've talked about that already. Right now, some of us have more time. Some of us may not have more time, but our time might be different. So we are rushed usually by the weather, but in this case, if we think, okay, I'm going to use it as a break to move from inside to outside. I'm going to use this as my exercise. I'm going to stop. I'm going to breathe. Take my time through this because, again, we have no idea how long this time is going to be for us that we are more in our yards and in our home. So as much as we can take advantage of it. So this infographic, again, very different for this time where we are. So the I in patience include lots of breaks, and that's where, again, I'm balancing off being outside, being inside. Very often we're very convenient as women, or we're very efficient, I should say, as women, where we say, okay, if I'm outside and I've got my rubber boots on, I've got my gloves, I've got my sweatshirt, my work gloves, I'm not doing stuff inside and outside. But even if we can take those breaks around and change the activity that we're doing outside, and even if we are doing stuff inside, there is no reason why we can't put our boots on, put our stuff on, and then go back outside for a bit, because we get the benefit both ways. We get the benefit of doing something different in the house that might stimulate our brain a little bit more. We may have to do some stuff at the computer, and then you get outside, get in the sun, and you get the benefit of both worlds. Does it always feel as efficient? Absolutely not. It doesn't, right? It just feels like you're doing things twice sometimes, but in the big grand scheme of things, it's going to benefit your body and your mind, perhaps a little bit more. So easing into yard work, you know I'm a big fan of doing some stretches. So if you go to Sherry's page, Morton Jib, her Healing Place page, her ShareFit page, Lisa has a page as well, and she's doing exercises and stretches for gardening, and I just did one last week as well. So there's lots and lots of help out there in terms of keeping stretching, and again, you count it as your exercise. And it will help in terms of pain-free movement. Next day is okay, right? So there's my N. That's a little bit of a challenging one as well because sometimes it's snow. So I do get that, but set a goal for what you want to do, and you can absolutely say tomorrow is just fine. And we are running into a good stream of weather right now, which is fantastic. The C in patience, crouch, use your legs was one Lisa and Sherry and I talked about. Sometimes if we are crouched and we're leaning forward, some of you have SI issues. And so the important thing with your pelvis and your hips and your back is that you keep the load close to you and you don't lean that far away for a long period of time. So we talked about bending at the hips and not at the back, using your legs, and bending your knees. So that's the C. And then the E through this is as much as we can. Again, a very, very different time. Being outside, being in the sun has never ever felt for me personally as therapeutic as it does right now. So if we can move, if we can create beautiful things, it's not looking too beautiful quite yet, but it will come. So mindfulness, patience, breathing, all of that. So I'm hoping, thank you so much for those of you just joined me live. And for those of you that are watching the recording, I'd love your comments as well. So I know a lot of you are out there actually in the garden. So we'll see you Friday morning if you are around for our 7 a.m. meditation. And until then, breathe and be patient. Bye for now.